Good day all, and welcome to this section. Now in this section I would be explaining how to use the RSI to incorporate the AutoZone detector indicator which we earlier introduced for MT5. As we know, the RSI indicator is a relative strength index which is telling us the strength, the buying strength, the current buying strength, or the selling strength of an indicator. Now most people would use this indicator as it is self-explicit. It is very easy to use, but then what we don't know is at times the RSI indicator may not be that accurate as we've seen it, which makes some people to eventually end up in losses with it. So something to take home about it is that when using the RSI indicator, you should look to combine it with another indicator, and like I would recommend combining it with the AutoZone detector indicator which has been introduced to the group. Now in this case, we would see, I'll point out an example here. We can see the RSI indicator is pointing a sell and oversold here, but then price continued downward, because this is it. Price continued downward, and if you had entered at this zone here, you would have ended up in loss. Why? Because price isn't at a verified zone. For those of us already using the AutoZone indicator, would see that price, we have 4 zones on the auto detector. We have the weak zone, we have the verified zone, we have the proven zone, and then we have the strong zone. Now from the 4 zones we have, we don't consider the weak zone, though eventually the weak zone might become a verified zone if price continues to respect that zone, and then a verified zone might also become a proven zone if price still continues, and then a proven zone can still become a strong zone. But when it is still at a weak zone, we don't consider it as a valid zone to trade. We only start considering a verified zone and a proven zone and a strong zone. Now this is because we want to be sure, we want a confirmation. We just don't want to enter the market blindly. This is our hard-earned funds, so we don't want to gamble away with it. So we want to be sure, is this zone actually valid to make entries? So this is a way of filtering out the noise of the market. Now in this case, would delve in properly to show us how to incorporate the RSI indicator with the zone detector, with the AutoZone indicator which has been introduced to the group earlier. Now we can see here, price here was at the oversold level, but then price continued to sell. But then the moment it got to a verified zone here, we can see price began its gradual ascent. You can see price began its gradual ascent from this zone. You can see price began its gradual ascent to the top. Though this may not be the cleanest of entries because price wicked down, but then if one has taken this trade and then the stop loss slightly below the zone, would have ended up in good profits. Now let's check for some other zones, from some other okay, let me check for. Now we have GBP USD here. Now we can see here price here also starts making its move. RSI at oversold level and also at a proven zone. Then price began its move. So what you need to watch out for is RSI at a zone for entry? If yes, then is price at your zone? Is it at a verified zone, a proven zone, or a strong zone? Now if these parameters are met, then we can decide to take the trade. Now how do we take the trade? We don't just take the trade because price is at the at the oversold or overbought level. Now we need to wait for price to start making that move. As you can see, moment price is about to start crossing above the 30 or 70 threshold. Now in my case, I prefer to use 80-20. I don't wait for the traditional 70-30. It is sometimes some traps are being set there, and then the accuracy tends to be a bit lower. But then I use the 80-20 threshold. So this is a high accuracy parameters for me. So once price is starting to make the move, then you make your entry. So your entry would have been somewhere around here on this candle. At the closure of the candle, now you make your entry, and then price move all the way, and still moving upwards. But then I would have taken my profit. Now, the second way to use the RSI indicator is to confirm a trend before entering the indicator. Now this will be very useful for those that will be using the trend indicator and the trend EA in future. Now, how do we detect if a trend has been confirmed? Now a trend has been confirmed once it sweeps cleanly. You wait for it to sweep. When it is up, the movement here is moving steadily, so it is about to cross the range of 50. Then you can also make an entry there, like I also did here. I missed the actual entry from here, but then I was able to catch this moving steadily, so I jumped in, and then I also bagged some pips here. As you can see, it moved steadily, and crossing the range of 50 is a confirmation, and the price is still going in that direction. Like as you can see, trade was executed in that zone. We also have unlike this zone 2, you can see I made an entry here too as well. So you wait for price to start descending or ascending after it has been overbought or oversold. You wait for price to start ascending or descending. You can see it's starting to descend from the overbought level, and then I cleanly, so this is the precision I used to mention in trading. You can see this is a precision. You are making an entry at almost a bottleneck of where price is about to cross below. So these are high accurate trades. So so this is how I make these entries. Like from my MT here, you can see it doesn't mean we don't make losses. I'll be showing the loss first, so we don't get too excited, because there's nothing like holy grail when it comes to trading. But then we're only just here to take more than what the market would collect from us. Now this is a loss here. Now let me show us the trade. That is the JPY. Okay, now this is a UDJPY. We can see here price was, I wanted to make my trademark precision entries. Yes, I would say it is a precision. So I was here, it was here, price got to that peak and was showing it wants to make some the downtrend, but then it seems I misjudged. And the market took me out. Like, oh God, I'm not ready to move downward though. You can see here. So the market took me out before it eventually made that move. I didn't mean I was actually checking, or I didn't mean if I had checked my notification quicker, I would have gotten a notification for this sell, and then I would have confirmed my entry at this. I would have made my entry at this neck here and write price down. So that was the loss I made, but then we still have more profits. we made more profits than the loss, using the same strategy of waiting for price to start making the ascent or descent. That is when price is starting to break above the parameters of 70 or 30. When price is below the 70, above the 70, we don't make the entry. We wait for price to start making a descent from the 70. Given that price is at the verified zone or proven zone or strong zone, either of those three zones. If price is at those zones, is when you should consider making the entry. If price is not at that zone, don't consider making that type of entry. So that is the logic. You check, is price at those zones? If yes, then is RSI also in alignment with what price is saying? If yes, then you should wait for price to start making that move. Like we can see here, this is a proper move. Price is starting to descend, entry made, and then all the way to my 1 risk or my 3:1 risk reward ratio. So for some people that have always been saying it is not, perhaps it is a bit complex or something. So this is maybe perhaps they are not very used with the MT5 PC version. So this is what I have been saying, though I'll only be able to show the entries from here. I can't show the full chart of it. So what I'm saying here is, if you had made the entry at the right moment, then you should be in profit as well. Like this is a typical example of what I was saying. This entry was when price was about to break above the 50, the threshold of 50, and then I had to just take the scalp here, setting my stop loss here, and price went all the way to my entry. And then I was also still observing, price got to this peak and then waited, and then when it was confirmed that it is about crossing below the threshold of my 80, I use 80-20. I don't use the traditional 70-30 everyone is using. I used 80-20. So when price is confirmed it is about coming, then I made the entry and then rode price all the way down. My 3:1 also secured. So it is waiting for the right moment. The only thing you need in this space is waiting for that moment. So it requires lots of patience, because at times for hours you'd wait for price and price would not come. You wait for price, so you have to keep waiting until those parameters are met. So that is why I don't trade one pair. I focus on all the pairs. So anyone's at least daily, I would get an entry. Likewise here, I've been too busy since yesterday. I know I would have entered this buy position, but then I don't chase. Once the setup has start playing out, sometimes I don't jump in again. So as you can see here too, I made the same style of entry. Price was moving above the threshold of 50, and after jumping in, I still came back and rode the price down. It seems this is the first one I showed. Now let me check. Okay, it seems I took a trade here too. Okay, it seems still the same strategy, taking my buy here and then taking my sell. Something you would notice is price is just moving in that direction when I made the entry. It is not doing, because that is when price has decided to move. This is when price has decided to move. So we need to wait for that moment. So waiting for that moment is the key thing to do. We also took a trade on this pair as well, the same strategy. You take a buy here, took the buy here, the scalp buy, and then I waited for price to do its sell. You can see, simple as that. So that is how to incorporate the RSI indicator with the zone detector indicator. I believe this would help us to make better decisions in the markets in future tradings. Please, you can like and subscribe for more insights on trading, and then do enjoy your trading.